Now on Newsday TV, the snow and rain are gone, and now dangerously cold temps are moving in. Thanks for joining us. I'm Ken Bufa. The cold weather is going to be with us tonight and tomorrow. Now tonight it's in the teens, but with double-digit wind gusts, it'll feel more like the single digits. Tomorrow will look and feel a lot like today, with highs topping out only in the low 20s. It's warm up a bit the rest of the week, but frigid temps return for the weekend, and there's another chance for snow.
Long Island weather is brought to you by PTRC.
Tomorrow, Governor Hochul is set to present her new state budget proposal. She'll outline how she plans to pay for her new affordability agenda. Details were laid out last week during her State of the State address, which included plans to increase aid for child care and lower car and homeowners insurance. The spending proposal is expected to total more than $250 billion. The deadline to approve the state budget is April 1st. And DMVs across the state are shutting down on President's Day weekend. It's being done so more secure and modernized systems can be installed. The shutdown starts Friday, February 13th. Everything should be up and running again Wednesday, the 18th. And Long Islanders are remembering the message of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Hempstead Village held its annual parade this morning, marching down Hempstead Turnpike to Hofstra University. Back in 1965, the civil rights leader spoke at the school's commencement. A little later in the show, we'll see how others are honoring King's legacy. And the town of Babylon is borrowing more than $15 million for new road and park projects. Now, $8 million will go to road construction, and there are also plans to upgrade a skateboard park at Tanner Park in Copeg and build a 9/11 memorial between Overlook and Cedar Beaches. $23 million in upgrades are being planned for this Hempstead apartment complex now that it has a new owner. The building on Terrace Avenue was just acquired by a New York City investment group. Tenants can stay in their homes during the renovations, which will take approximately 2 years. Only in Newsday, a new plan in the town of Babylon could help ease the island's housing crunch. Virginia Huey has the details.
It's so congested over here anyway. The last thing that we need on 110, if that's the entrance, is more cars. If it's housing that's affordable, then that's great.
The town of Babylon is proposing an overlay zoning district that would allow for nearly 1,400 residential units to be built in the parking lot of Airport Plaza Shopping Center in East Farmingdale and on surrounding properties.
We're all for development, but not if it's going to hurt us.
Nancy Sipser is a 56-year resident of Farmingdale and a civic leader. She and her members are concerned about higher tax assessments should the developers seek tax breaks through the town. They're also worried about congestion on Route 110.
Between the DOT property and the Airport Plaza, we're already looking at 800 apartments and a warehouse center across the street, all of which is going to add greatly to the traffic at this intersection.
But Farmingdale Chamber of Commerce President Joseph Garcia said the proposal would help address housing needs while also boosting the local economy.
Local small business still is really the driver of the economic engine of Farmingdale and Long Island, and to feed that engine, we need people to live here.
Over the past 20 years, there have been a number of development proposals pitched for the area, which were rejected by local residents who complained the plans were too large for this space. The town of Babylon said they took that into consideration when coming up with the overlay district proposal.
This proposal is very specific and strategic in terms of where the redevelopment can occur and the resources that will be needed, as well as the number of units that will be created. We need to determine what's the sweet spot for what we can absorb in the area.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Now, to read more about this story, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. There's a greenhouse in Riverhead growing unique flowers that are bursting with color. Let's head out east with Doug Geed.
To see orchids growing in the wild, you'd have to go to southern China, Vietnam, or the Philippines. But did you know that they're also grown on our East End? I'm Doug Geed, out east for Newsday TV. Let's pay a visit to Bianchi Davis Greenhouse in Riverhead.
These plants are very desirable because they don't get so big. They're nice for a bathroom, they're nice for a kitchen table, or a window in the kitchen.
Orchids are also desirable because they're simply stunning to look at. A huge variety of colors, some solid, others with patterns, or a combination of colors. And something else interesting about this variety of orchid is that in the wild they don't grow in the ground, they grow on trees way up in the air.
They have very specialized roots because they have to hang on to the branch. If they don't hang on to the branch in a windstorm, they'll go down on the ground and die.
Bill Bianchi's family goes way back in the floral industry. It was the 1950s when they switched their focus to orchids. Today, he's the only orchid grower on Long Island, selling about $150,000 a year to florists and garden centers across the island and as far away as Boston and Philadelphia. Orchids bloom once a year, but the flowers stick around for a while.
They can stay in bloom in your house for 4 months.
If they have a lot of flowers, a lot of buds, eventually every single one is going to open and it'll look like a cascade, like a waterfall.
Just a warning if you want to buy one, orchids like a lot of sun. But in the right spot, with the right care, you'll have them for a long time.
They can live for 5, 10, 15 years.
It's a lot of work producing these beautiful flowers, but there's lots of rewards. One of them is working in a warm, tropical environment, even in the middle of a Long Island winter.
I really enjoy what I'm doing. When I'm home, I'm desperate to come to work. I really enjoy all these beautiful flowers here.
In Riverhead for Newsday TV, I'm Doug Geed.
Now for more Out East segments, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Today is a federal holiday set aside to honor the late civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Virginia Huey shows us how he's being remembered by Long Islanders.
Martin Luther King sign should be throughout the march.
In Long Beach, about 200 people braved the cold to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. with a parade down Park Avenue.
Keep the dream alive!
The civil rights icon would have turned 97 this year.
We're marching in his memory because what he did was so, it was so important for, human rights and black rights.
King's message of peace and justice resonated with people who spent the march echoing his words.
Tell me what democracy looks like.
This is what democracy looks like.
But amid the cheerful chants, there was concern about the Trump administration's crackdown on immigration and rollbacks on diversity and inclusion programs.
There's a lot going on right now with ICE and so much separation in the community, so much hatred that's going around. We just want to remind everybody that we are stronger together.
Even our president said that civil rights, it hurt a lot of people. Well, I think they fought for civil rights to help a lot of people.
King had strong ties to Long Island as he made several visits in the 1960s for civil rights rallies in Malvern, Lakeview, Great Neck, and Hempstead. Hempstead Village marked Martin Luther King Jr. Day with its 33rd annual parade down Hempstead Turnpike to Hofstra University. In 1965, the civil rights leader spoke at Hofstra's commencement ceremony, urging residents to fight against racial injustice, poverty, and war. Let us march on. Long Islanders at Hempstead Celebration said King's message is still relevant.
We want everybody to be in unity, all the black, the brown, everybody. It's important that we all stand together for what's right.
Keep the dream alive!
Reporting for Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Hewing.
Now, to read more about MLK events, go to Newsday.com, click Get More, below the Newsday TV video box.
Newsday Sports is brought to you by Sun Nation Energy, helping Long Island homes and businesses save with solar for over 20 years.
A big off-season win for the Giants because they just hired a new head coach. Jimmy Stewart and Tom Rock take a look at what it could mean for the team.
The Giants won just 4 games this past season, but that seems like a distant memory because the G-Men and Super Bowl winning head coach John Harbaugh have agreed to team up in the Big Apple. Newsday's Tom Rock joins us now to talk about it. Tom, the Giants have been spinning their wheels for the last few years with head coaches. So the question is, how big of a hire is it for them to land Harbaugh?
Jamie, this isn't just the biggest hire since Tom Coughlin. It's probably the biggest hire since they've been in business over 100 years. They have never gone out and gotten the Super Bowl winning or championship winning head coach and brought him in and expected him to do the same thing for them. And that's exactly what they want John Harbaugh to do here. He is the most decorated, most highly touted coach they have ever hired.
Now, for Harbaugh, he brings instant credibility and respectability back to the Giants. He spent the last 18 seasons with the Ravens, won a Super Bowl. How much do you think the Giants' young core played into them landing him?
That's a big part of it there, Jamie, because you look at Cam Scatterbo, you look at Jackson Dart, you look at all the pieces they have. Malik Neighbors coming back from injury, all those guys coming together. That's a really enticing product to put together for a coach. And when you're a coach and you're looking for a vacancy, you want to know that infrastructure is in place, that roster has some ability. And that's just, we're talking about the offense. Even on the defensive side, they have that. The offensive line, they have a lot of pieces. So I think this roster is a lot better than the wins that it's produced in the last few years. And now it's going to be up to John Harbaugh to squeeze that out of it.
The Giants made a full court press to get the 63-year-old Harbaugh. Ownership flew out to meet him. Tom Coughlin, Eli Manning chatted with him. Even the fired Brian Daboll vouched for the job. So how do you think the power dynamic, Tom, will work with him and GM Joe Schoen?
Jamie, the Giants have always been a GM-driven organization in terms of their dynamic and their decision-making. The GM runs the show, he runs the roster, he makes all those decisions on draft day. That's going to change a little bit now, but I think John Harbaugh is old enough, he has enough experience, and he's been working with general managers in Baltimore to know that there's a big difference between working with a general manager and working for a general manager. And I think in this case, it's going to be the former.
Now, to read more about the Giants and the Jets, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. See more on these stories at Newsday.com and watch us streaming anytime on Local Now, YouTube, and other services you see here. I'm Ken Buffa. More local news coming up.
An inside look at Long Island businesses as Newsday presents LI Works. Join Ken Buffa as he samples unique jobs and meets the people behind them. LI Works, now available at Newsday.com/LI Works.